What will be the classic cars of the future? Today, we're going to see if we can answer that question. Will we find any future classics, or will we just be disappointed? Welcome everybody to Flat Cap Media.
So, as a little experiment, today we've decided to come down to a typical car supermarket, if you like. So we have come to Carbase in Bristol, to see if we can actually spot anything that we think would be a classic of the future. I've been sworn not to do any inquiries into any vehicles that I see that I may like. Already I've lost her. Where's she gone now? Let's go and see if we can find any cars potentially that may be worthy of future classic car status. Let's go.
In 30 years' time, would all the cars that we see today be white, black and grey?
It certainly seems like it, doesn't it? So on Mrs. Flatcap's point, we've got many silvers and blacks and whites, but the Mercedes C-Class. Now, I actually quite like the look of these. I think these are quite nice looking cars, to be honest with you. And obviously Mercedes of old tend to get classic car status anyway. So, yeah, what do we think? C-Class Mercedes? Is it a future classic? There's another one back here. There's an estate back here. Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think. Staying with the Mercedes, we've got a little SLK here. Not sure what spec it is. I'm going to have to go around the back and have a little look. So this is actually an SLC 200, so similar to like the SLKs of old. Yeah, they certainly go well with the V8s in them. Yeah, I'd say that's potentially one to add to the list. Now, I'm not going to go through every single car that's in this car park, because obviously we'd be here all day. Now, as we know, classic cars at the moment are based on their rarity, and even things that sold in great numbers that have no longer exist. Now, I'm not saying for any 1 minute that this would happen, but do we consider Tesla? Now, obviously Tesla haven't been around that long, but you see them everywhere nowadays, and you never know what the future holds. I'm not sort of saying that when you go to a car show in 20-30 years time you're going to see Teslas everywhere, because we don't know if that will happen, but they do sell in massive numbers, so it is something to consider for the future. Not necessarily saying that I would buy a Tesla. I wouldn't. I don't like them, but anyway, let's move on. E-Class here, E220. Now, not obviously a big power car, but E-Classes, young and old, they always seem to get good attention, so I think this is potentially one that we could say would achieve classic status one day. Again, feel free to drop it in the comments, let me know you guys' thoughts. Now, here's something to consider. I know this one is sold, but this is a BMW 235i. Now, it doesn't look particularly menacing, but if you know a little bit about BMWs, this is a pretty tasty one. This one looks like he's been here a while, unfortunately. But yeah, any sort of M performance car is definitely going to, or definitely has the potential to hold future classic car status. Now, here's one that Mrs. Flackham has just pointed out, the Audi TT. Now, early generations of TT were very, very good, and from what we've read and obviously speaking to owners and stuff, this is a Quattro as well, so this is the four-wheel drive one. That is very nice. Yeah, I think the Audi TT would definitely be a future classic for sure. You had a question.
Would you find a hybrid at car show in 30 years' time?
Yeah, possibly. Do we consider anything with a mini badge on worthy of classic status?
A Mini Countryman.
Yeah, the Countryman is questionable, I would say. Yeah, definitely not a fan of these. Like, the Cpra S ones look okay, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. We have literally walked straight the way down past all the MPVs because we're not interested.
Well, I don't think any would be considered.
No, I don't think so. Like I said, I mean, they're not. Well, I mean, you know, you never know, but I'd say if a future classic car like so looked like this, I think I would leave, to be honest.
Personally, you?
Yeah, that's just my personal opinion, folks. So Mrs. Flatcab has pointed out she thinks the Honda Civic would be a future classic. What do we think? These actually age quite well. I think these look better now than they did when they were released. I think. Like I said, having owned a few Hondas myself, I can vouch for them because they are brilliant cars. Yeah, obviously this is just a sort of more basic spec, but yeah, I'd say potentially maybe. This is a controversial one that Mrs. Flatcap's just thrown into the mix. The Vauxhall Insignia. Now, obviously me being a Vauxhall fan, and actually when the Insignia was released, I was actually working at a Vauxhall dealership at the time. I actually quite liked the look of them. Now this is the sort of later shape, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Stellantis has actually dropped the Insignia now. So, I don't know, you know. Well, you think, I mean, we used to think, you know, like things like the Vectra and the Cavalier were just, you know, everyday humdrum cars, and you know they're sort of getting more popular now more than ever. So yeah, potentially, could we add the Insignia to the list? Let me know in the comments what you think. Now, anything with an SRI badge on fetches pretty good money in the Vauxhall world nowadays, but are we saying the same thing with the Corser? Yeah, I actually owned one of these a few years ago, and I thought it was a good little car, to be honest with you. And you seem to see less of them now because, you know, people with Fiestas are taking over the place. So, yeah, a potential one to keep an eye on, maybe that one. Now, this is definitely one to consider: the Volkswagen Polo GTI. Now, the early GTI Polos, got to try and think now, was it the 6N2? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I'm not a big up on me Volkswagens. I do like the look of this though, it's quite nice. Yeah, I do quite like the look of that. One thing I do like about the Volkswagens is when you get like the checkered interior. That's really nice, I do like that. But yeah, I would say that is definitely one to watch for the future as a potential future classic. Now, you either like them or you don't, but I got to admit, and you know, I think some of you will probably agree, the modern Fiat 500 would be a future classic, especially the Barth Fiat 500 or 595. The thing with these is they've sold in huge numbers since their release, and you know, they are popular. Like, they're very, very popular. So, you know, potentially, I would say the Fiat 500 would be a potential future classic. Now, something that's hiding over here, which we are big fans of on this channel, is the Mini Cooper S. Now, this looks like a John Cooper Works. It is a John Cooper Works. Now, people say, oh, you know, it's not an original Mini and this, that and the other, but if you've ever actually driven one of these, you'll know how good they actually are to drive. Like I said, Mother Flatcap actually has one of these, and she loves it, and I've driven hers as well, and yeah, they are amazing little cars, and like it or not, they are going to achieve classic car status in the future. Okay, now here's one. Now, we all remember the original Seat Leon Cpra R. Now, I don't think this is a Cpra R, but it is a Cupra. I actually know somebody who's got one of these, and yeah, he loves it. Yeah, definitely an alternative to the Golf GTI. But yeah, I think these are really cool cars. Like the earlier ones were cool as well. Yeah. I'll leave this one up to you guys. What do we think? The Seat Leon Cupra, is it worthy of future classic car status? Going back to Volkswagen and the Golf R. Now, I'm not too familiar. Like I said, I've said in the past, I'm not 100% clued up on my Volkswagens. Believe this to be a Mark 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I tell you what, these are very, very popular now. So I think if they're popular now, then they're going to be desirable in 30 years' time. So yeah, I would say the Golf R is worthy of future classic car status.
Yeah.
And walking up here, we've got a line of GTIs.
That's nice, that black one.
Yeah. A difference in price. So you've got a 15 plate one on the end here. That's up for 12.5. This one is 18.5, and this one is, near us makes no difference, 17.
Yeah, again, if you stand back, it's like what I mentioned earlier. Silver, black and white.
Yeah. It's all the same sort of colour, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's a shame because you don't, cars that catch the eye are usually bright colours and things. Yeah, that is one thing we are disappointed with so far, is they all just seem to be the same colour. It's white, grey, black, navy blue. There's no sort of, you might get the odd red car here and there, but there's nothing really that jumps out at you, screaming, look at me, sort of thing. Is there? Not really. We've got a case in point here. Now, we like the Mazda MX-5, obviously we've had a couple of them, and, this one, not entirely sure of spec-wise, probably looking at it, it's a 1.5. Nice, they do look nice. I do like these, and I probably would consider one if I ever got the chance to again. But yeah, again, it's just, this one's up for 12,000. It just doesn't really sort of scream, future classic at me. I don't know. I mean, I may be wrong. Obviously we love the MX-5, and like it or not, the MX-5 is a classic car now. So potentially, here's an interesting one. What are our thoughts on the Toyota GT86? I really like these, and it's a simple sort of setup. They're rear-wheel drive as well. They got boxer engine in, obviously, which is what near enough every Subaru had. Yeah, I think potentially this would be a candidate. Oh, same thing. This one's actually an automatic as well, believe it or not. I think I'd have to buy a manual one. But yeah, they do look really nice. I do like the look of these. And like I said, they're good cars, but you don't really see a lot of them now. So if you saw one of these in 30 years, I would say, yeah, definitely, that would have classic car status. We're on a bit of a roll in this section. We've got the Focus ST. This is Mark... Oh, hang on. This is a Mark III Focus ST on a 17 plate in black. And from any, we like Fords, and, we have considered one. This is the one I actually like the look of. I like the newer shape one as well, but I actually prefer the look of this. Yeah, I do like the look of that. And any fast Ford gets a thumbs up from us that it would achieve classic car status in the future. That's quite nice, that. I glanced at this earlier when we was walking past it. It's a Skoda Octavia VRS. Originals of these were hilarious because they had the same engine in them as the Cpra R, and they were a lot cheaper as well. Yeah. Nardo Grey seems to be quite a popular colour at the moment. Yeah, Octavia VRS. That is quite a nice car, actually. I do like the look of that. You know, I'm not big on the Volkswagen Audi group, but yeah, I would say. Well, I'll leave it up to you guys. You tell me what you think. Let's go to Octavia VRS. Future classic or not? And now we're into Chelsea tractor territory.
I don't like these as much as the older versions.
No. You are a resident Land Rover aficionado.
I am, yes. When it comes to Land Rovers, I like horsepower. I like something that
coming from the fastest driver in the world.
Like toes.
Torque,
you know?
you mean?
Yeah, something that pulls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's getting her horsepower and torque confused. But no, I know what you mean. We have a German, well, obviously in a German section here, obviously minus the MG that's here. But yeah, very very dark, isn't it? Very dark. It's, nothing sort of pops out at you saying, you know, look at me. Is there really? Not really.
I kind of like that colour on the Audi.
This Audi?
Yeah, it's quite an unusual colour.
Is that is it an A1? I'm not sure actually. Yeah, it is quite an interesting colour, isn't it? It's like a pastel green. Audi A1 TFSI, so it's an S line. I mean, you are seeing sort of A1s. It's what people upgrade from Fiat 500s, isn't it? You know, they sort of go to like baby Audis and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, potentially a candidate. I mean, it's the only sort of thing in this sort of section that's jumping out saying, you know, actually getting some attention from us. Sad. It is sad. You know what I mean? Because you've got all of this here, you know, and we've basically walked past it because it doesn't sort of jump out at you. But the A1 is, you know, potentially sort of saying, you know, look at me, yeah. Yeah, potentially one to add to the list. Now, as you know, we like our Americana, but
this is a cry.
We don't particularly like the Mach-E Mustang. You know what I mean? It's kind of a fraud, isn't it? Well, I think underneath it's mainly Volkswagen stuff, if I remember rightly. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of this. I'll be honest with you. You know, it seems like a bit like the Ford Capri relaunch. It wasn't the best idea. I mean, you do see them around, but this is the only one that's actually here. And a lot of these have gone into car fleets and stuff as company cars and things like that. I mean, it's a nice company car to have. But yeah, I wouldn't say anybody would buy one. Well, I don't know. Yeah, not really something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, there might be a great big following of Mach-E's, I don't know, but certainly not really something that I'm interested in. We've got another Audi TT here. This one's looking a little bit sorry for itself. Look at the state of the wheels. Christ on a bike. But no, we like the Audi TT. This is a Quattro as well, so he's four-wheel drive, S-line. Yeah, similar to the one that was over there, actually. Yeah. Are we in agreement with that? We think that the Audi TT is future classic car material?
Definitely.
I think so.
I think it's definitely, out of this whole parking lot at the moment of what we've seen, it is a potential.
I think I'd agree with you on that.
It's high potential.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this video for a little while, and just coming down to somewhere like this, it's kind of depressing, really. I mean, we said that there's nothing here that we would want to, apart from a couple of things.
No, this is our local dealership where it does like loads of cars.
Well, local-ish. The bit, you know, anything worthy of, you know, something filming like this sort of thing, this would be the only sort of place.
Yeah.
We did look at a couple of other places, but yeah, they just weren't big enough. Were they?
So this is the only place that we have near us. But if you have anyone like something near you that has more better variety than this, maybe potentially.
Let us know if you guys have seen anything in, you know, your local car supermarket or used car dealership that you think would be a potential future classic, because from where we're standing, there ain't much about, really.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look very good. I think we're in trouble. even the ones that we said we'd like the look of, you know, they're still boring colours. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's jumping out at us saying, "Take me home." You know what I mean? And that's really sad, to be honest.
So despite initially being a bit disappointed from the day, we did actually come up with a small list of cars that we found here that we think would be classics of the future. So here is our top 5. In 5th place, the Audi TT. 4th place was the Volkswagen Golf R. 3rd place was the Mini Cooper JCW. 2nd place was the Toyota GT86. We actually really liked that one. And our favourite of the day was the black Ford Focus ST. So yeah, despite these few interesting cars, not really much on offer. And it's got us worried a bit, really, because if this is what the classics of the future look like, are we in trouble? What do you guys think? What do you think classics of the future will look like? Or is the classic car enthusiast now becoming a dying breed? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. So guys, a big thank you to everyone who's watched the video. Here's a nice Triumph to look at because it's better than looking at all this modern stuff, I think. We'll be back very soon. Doing what we love is looking at more older stuff, hopefully getting out to a few meets over the winter. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Take it steady, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-da.